Welcome back to another episode of Britt and Nick Do the News. It's been a minute since we've been on the mic, but we are still here and still going strong, bringing you the news stories that you want to hear. But since we're wrapped up for summer, we might take a little bit of a break. So don't be expecting any new episodes anytime soon, but we might recap our summer with a summer special. So keep on the look out for that. But with summer plans, I can give you a quick breakdown on what I'll be doing. I'll be heading out next week to Bridgeport, West Virginia for a film camp with my son. One of our producers has a kids camp where they do everything from acting workshops to shooting their own films. Dean Cain is showing up for a day. And Brittany, you know how much my company loves Dean Cain. He stars in a lot of Jason Campbell's movies. And it's nice that he's coming to support the kids while he shoots a few scenes for his upcoming flick. Other trips I'm looking forward to, of course, include the beach. Planning on going to Ocean City a few times, Charleston, South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia for my cousin's birthday, which I'm totally excited about. I would buy a place in Charleston tomorrow if I could. That city has it all with the Southern charm downtown, several beaches that all have their own vibe, amazing food. It's really just an amazing nook on the Atlantic that I can't help but always go back to. Savannah, I have never been to, but I hear it's pretty much like Charleston, so I'll have to assess the scene and report back about that. To round up summer, I'm planning to go back to Vegas for one of my longtime friends, shout out Bahari's, bachelorette party. Vegas and Charleston are both neck and neck for my favorite domestic cities. It's going to be a fun-filled summer, and hopefully, Britt, I can squeeze some beach action in with you at some point.
Oh my gosh, yo, I hope so. It sounds like you got a great summer lined up so far. I am definitely interested in hearing all about your adventures, and I hope that you guys will be interested in hearing about some of mine. I actually recently just was in Charleston, South Carolina, as well as Aiken, South Carolina, and Augusta, Georgia. Augusta, Georgia, we took a really interesting riverboat ride where the guide was originally kind of cool, but then was seeing some weird off the wall stuff like the War of Northern Aggression. I didn't actually have to Google it because I could understand by his reference points that he meant the Civil War. So a little odd squad. It was still beautiful riverboat ride, but it was definitely interesting to hear on the ear. So awkward has been up, but we make do. I also recently went to Charlotte, and my husband and I were able to hit up Carowinds, which I hadn't been to in over 15 years. So that was a great time. I even straddled the line of North Carolina and South Carolina. Not that it's the most wildest thing, but pretty darn awesome that it's in between both states. I've been to Savannah, Georgia a few years ago when we went on a mini moon. My husband and I, after our wedding, we wanted to stay kind of local. So we went to Savannah as well as Western North Carolina. But the only advice I could offer to you about Savannah is it is beautiful. It is awesome. And it does have a Charleston type of feel. But please wear good shoes. Do not wear no dang heels because almost kind of like Frederick, it is cobblestone city, broski. You will break an ankle if you go in there with anything other than sneakers or flip-flops. And even then, I try to keep it to tennis shoes because literally you are begging for a bruising if you wear wedges, stilettos. They also have these giant staircases. It is not wheelchair friendly, as far as I could tell. So yeah, that's just another thing to note. I know that doesn't really apply to you or your cousin, but just for everyone listening, wear tennis shoes and yeah, the rest as well.
Well, what does the rest of your summer look like, Brittany? I know you're running around more than me. So, tell the folks what you'll be getting into.
Ooh, good point, girl. I am going to the beach. I'm trying to head there this weekend to Topsail to celebrate my friend's birthday. I'm also going to be headed to the beach with my family for a whole week. That's in Surf City, very close to Topsail. So literally like 12 minutes apart. I also am trying to go up to Ocean City too, girl. And really, really soon, our pal Amanda is coming to North Carolina, and we're going to head to Wilmington to go to a Glass Animals concert. So I'm really looking forward to that. Think it's going to be an amazing time. Hopefully I can get some more beach days sprinkled in as well. and potentially maybe even head out to the West in the later part of the summer. But we will see. More details to come, y'all.
Yeah, we're running ourselves ragged. So we have to take a break so that we can just give you guys quality when we're ready to give it to you.
That's right.
All right, let's jump into the news. One big, beautiful bill. What does it entail, and why is Elon throwing a fit about it? The One Big Beautiful Bill was passed by House of Representatives May 22nd by one vote, and Elon has been unraveling ever since. Senate could technically pass the bill at any time, but they are stating it's unlikely to pass before July 4th. Some of the details of the bill include a $150 billion increase in the Department of Defense budget, major tax reforms including a permanent extension of his 2017 tax cuts, and new deductions for tips, overtime pay, car loan interest, and more. The spending proposal also includes a major overhaul of Medicaid, including work requirements for recipients above the poverty line and restrictions on services funding child gender affirming care and nonprofits that provide abortion services. Changes to education and student loan funding are also included, like eligibility requirements for Pell Grants and increased taxes on private university endowments. This bill has people torn. One side saying the bill is expected to have a significant impact on the national debt and economy, but the White House claims that the bill will lead to increased investment, job creation, and economic growth. Who seems to be the loudest about his disapproval of the bill? Elon Musk. Trump took to Truth Social after Elon blasted on X about how upset he was about that House-approved bill, posting that he took out the EV mandate that forced people to buy electric cars, which Elon knew about for months. Then he just went crazy. Easiest way to save billions of dollars was to cancel Elon's government subsidies and contracts. Elon's response? Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, and that's why they haven't been made public. One of my humble news reporters, John Wibber, posted a fun fact on Instagram that Epstein actually introduced Elon's brother to his wife. Looks like they are somewhat all connected to that guy. But come on, I think we all knew Trump has to have some mentions in the Epstein files. There are pictures of him with that guy at several events.
It is so true. It has to be. And you know what? You're right, Nicole. This B&B bill will also add 2.4 trillion to the deficit and leave about 10.9 million more uninsured. And Elon called it a disgusting abomination. Well, is he right? Is he wrong? Uncertain, but we have all been recently witnessing his unraveling. The ketamine king. What's that, say you? That is the new name donned to the South African Elon Musk. You heard / said correctly. This joker didn't take too long before he showed even more true colors, and that includes ketamine, ecstasy, and shroomy boomies too. There has been a crap ton of footage showing Musk losing his composure, whatever little he had, and looking very obviously like he was high, rolling, and even tripping balls. This comes as no surprise to anyone with a working brainstem, as this goofball has consistently shown that he is an incompetent father, a reckless rulemaker, and a fear-mongering prick in general. The only surprise I found is how long it took for him and the guy in orange, Trump, to start bumping heads after Elon takes bumps of who knows what else. Also, side note, I'm not necessarily party shaming, but there's definitely a time and place. So please don't be out here doing crazy wild narcotics and drinking to excess when you know you're supposed to be in a professional setting. It is not a good look, and save it for another time. There's plenty of times to do that type of stuff if that's what you're interested in. But in front of the camera is not one of them.
Yeah, I heard also that he travels around with a little pill box of 20 pills at all times. I don't know of what pills, but I think, you missed out on that Adderall in that list, Brittany. That one kind of balances him out with the rest of the combination of narcotics. ICE is scooping up people in record numbers. Tuesday, June 3rd, was said to be the most arrests in a single day, making history with detaining more than 2,200 people. Hundreds of the people who were arrested have been enrolled in ICE's Alternative to Detention, ATD program, which I guess they're supposed to release and monitor non-criminal undocumented illegals with ankle monitors, geolocation programs, smartphone apps, and local check-ins. ATD were asked in a mass text message ICE sent out to show up ahead of schedule for check-ins at ICE offices, only to be arrested when they arrived. Other major ICE busts include Operation Patriot in Massachusetts, which is the largest single state operation ever conducted. ICE arrested nearly 1,500 individuals in Massachusetts throughout May. It is reported that only half have criminal records or pending charges. The initiative continues throughout June. There's also the worksite enforcement in Tallahassee, Florida, where ICE conducted a targeted worksite enforcement operation on May 29, 2025, at a construction site near Florida State University, detaining over 100 people. Some went to detention centers in Florida and others deported right back to Mexico. But the biggest issue is a lot of their families don't even know where they can be located. Mid-May, White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller wasn't happy with numbers, threatening to fire heads of offices if they didn't detain more than 3,000 people a day. A big initiative was then sparked Operation at Large. A nationwide ICE-led plan is underway to ramp up arrests of unauthorized immigrants, including more than 5,000 personnel from across federal law enforcement agencies and up to 21,000 National Guard troops, according to an operation plan described in NBC News.
I know a story from personal reference, actually. A teacher friend of mine who teaches in the Southeast, she recently told me that she has a student whose mom was pulled over really during a traditional traffic stop, but had no papers to show. So she was swiftly taken in and removed by ICE, never to return home again. Talk about sad and sudden. No warning and no questions asked other than, are you legal? This poor kid and their siblings never got to say goodbye, and it is guaranteed that these kiddos are confused, concerned, and now super cautious. It is almost like a case of dad went out to go get milk and never came home, except mom went to go get the juice and wanted to come home, but she couldn't.
I think that's the biggest issue here, Brittany, for me at least, is that the families are being separated and they don't even know where they're going. I mean, can you imagine not only your dad didn't come home, but you don't even know where your dad is, like Mexico or in a detention center? I can't imagine. The one thing I don't like is, the idea of ICE raiding the schools. It's not just the illegal immigrants that they're snatching up. It's the witnesses of our children seeing the acts going down. And I mean, I know we have a problem with immigration and I support, cleaning that up, but we got to do it and not be so full throttle.
100% agreed. I support, protecting the borders and making sure that crazy criminals don't cross over. But going into schools, that's pretty rowdy. And once again, no information. It's just like all of a sudden, one day they're here and the next they're not. It's pretty crazy.
It really is. But let's move things to some lighter topics. How about that celebrity news, Britt? You always deliver it so well.
Well, thank you, Nick. In pop culture news, it has been made public information that Blake Lively has dropped her claims against Justin Baldoni and kind of uses the excuse that it was because of the emotional distress that she has endured when going through this trying time. The general public has seemingly been on Justin's side throughout this ordeal, and they were all patiently waiting for Blake to abandon this whole case. According to reports, a lot of what she was initially claiming was false, and they technically have the receipts to prove it. Baldoni's team wanted her medical reports and even requested for her to sign a HIPAA waiver that would allow for therapy notes to be accessible to them. Dang, to be honest, that actually does seem really stressful. But regardless, she withdrew all of the assertions that she had made previously. In more celeb gossip, Hugh Jackman and his wife, Deborah Lee Furness, that is correct, it is Deborah and not Deborah, peep the spelling, are splitting after 27 long years of marriage. His ex has made statements to the media outlets about the traumatic journey of betrayal as she references her husband's dalliance with a much younger Sutton Foster. The good news is that their divorce is uncontested, and apparently Homegirl will be getting some loot out of the deal since their financial assets are an estimated $400 million. I'm sure she would rather have a loyal man, but hundreds of millions isn't the worst shakeout ever. Let's be real.
What about the Diddy trial, Brittany? I mean, that's been flooding my feed, and you got some details about that.
It's true. I think we are all on the edge of our seats and have been for a while. Because, girl, remember when we used to joke about Diddy? Did he do it? Yeah, a few months back, we used to kind of wonder. Well, now it is without question that he did some things. Puffy has had several lawsuits of sexual assault filed against him, with incidences dating back to 1991 when we were knee high to a grasshopper. So he's been a disgusting weirdo since then. He also has sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy charges brought to him. And if convicted on the racketeering charges, he could face up to life in prison. Also, racketeering is when one or many create schemes that are illegal activities that are often disguised as legit business transactions with the sole purpose of gaining monetary profit. It's a little interesting that they're going to put that on a life sentence, but sexual assault really only gets like 10 to 15 years. Now, truth be told, the illegal activities are probably, all about sex trafficking and what have you. But even still, I feel it's a little kind of a shame to not represent the individual as much as the company. But that's all, whatever. This talentless clown has even been accused of relentless efforts to corruptly influence witness testimony, also known as bully and intimidate, threaten and dominate. In fact, there is no way that he could have all these people being brought up in these court cases and have it be a setup. The only thing you set up was yourself, baby. I mean, it is one thing to have several quote unquote nobodies hem you up, which still matters, by the way. But listen to this list of names that were mentioned during the trial. Kid Cudi, and he actually testified. Cassie Ventura also testified. But other names include Michael B. Jordan, Britney Spears, Michael Myers, Chris Brown, Capricorn Clark, that's Diddy's former assistant, and 50 Cent. With that being said, 50 Cent is this century's biggest hater, and I'm here for it. He reached out to Trump to already secure and make sure that the old prez would not pardon this pedo creeper who, let's face it, he was never the talent and only the predator.
Yeah, speaking of witness testimony, a stylist, Deontay Nash, was on the stand recently saying that he witnessed Cassie getting beat on several occasions by Diddy, and that Diddy threatened to send out sex tapes of her at some of the freak-offs to the public, to her parents, and that he wouldn't release her albums if she didn't do exactly what he said. So I guess blackmail, coercion, manipulation, you can all add it to the list. This guy is just a monster.
Sick guy.
We can transition to the weather, but in celestial news, people can catch the strawberry full moon Wednesday, June 11th at 3:44 a.m. Eastern Time. According to Earth Sky, the moon is special not only for the color, but that it will be at its lowest full moon since 2006, which has the moonrise and moonset to occur at the most extreme north and southernmost points. I mentioned on our March podcast how I was trying to catch that blood moon lunar eclipse at 2 a.m. in the morning and couldn't even find the moon. So most likely I won't see this one either at that hour, but hopefully others can.
Yeah, for real. I know that was kind of a shame. You got up early and went out special and couldn't see it. But you know what? Sometimes the effort is what matters just as much too. So good for you for getting up early and trying to make the scene.
I mean, my body naturally did it, so I didn't really set an alarm and really want to catch it. I just figured, while I'm up, might as well get in my car and start searching for the moon. But come on, you think it would be that hard to find? It's in the sky. But anywho, let's talk about those Canadian wildfires. They had my town a little smoky this week. But not only the U.S. was smoky, even Europe was getting some of that smoke. It started in mid-May in Manitoba, Ontario, and Saskatchewan, and currently 200 fires are burning with over 100 out of control. There has been an evacuation of over 27,000 people across 3 provinces. It's reported that the burned area in Canada is currently the second largest on record for this time of year. 111 wildfires have been caused by people, the government data shows, but 6 occurred naturally, probably as a result of lightning, and another 5 are under investigation.
Ooh, Canada's real smoky, girl. Because I remember, what was it? Probably like 2 years ago, around July 4th weekend, we were hiking up the Maryland Heights Trail, and it was a little smoky. They were giving out lots of warnings saying don't be hiking and walking and breathing in the air, but we took our chances and I think we did fine. Honestly, it only added to the experience, made it a little fog, like almost like we were in some sort of a
Horror movie?
yeah, like some deal like that. But honestly, when I was coming up, a lot of people smoke. They had smoking sections. It's like, what's the difference between someone holding a stogie near your face and, being in some smoke down however many hundreds of miles? So honestly, not that big of a deal. And we kicked that trail's ass like we always do. So praise be on us. The only problem was you couldn't get the picture of Harper's Ferry as cute. It was a little mold over, but Harper's Ferry is only as big as a minute. So honestly, you ain't missing much.
That was a fun hike, and we always go against anyone who tells us what to do. So, of course, they say don't hike in the smoke, and we will be hiking.
Food releases as 4th of July is right around the corner. So are some delicious treats with a patriotic twist. Cheez-Its, the beloved Cheez-Its, are debuting their well-known and well-loved cheese crackers with stamps of the American flag as well as stars, adding flair that screams USA to the season of summer. Good old classic Pillsbury sliced bacon serve is getting in on the action as well. The folks at the food distribution giant, aka General Mills, feature the doughboy on the box saluting and standing proud. A salute to service. These classic sugar cookies feature a bright red and blue flag, and with each box comes an opportunity to help military families with Operation Homefront. Roger that. As we have mentioned before, we will have to mention again. Pickles are back at the party. Summertime is filled with cookouts, popsicles, and charcuterie plates aplenty. So Hormel is ready with their newest flavor to add to the block party. Dill pickle pepperoni. I have not tried anything that is pickle flavored on meat yet, but I'm dang sure willing to give it the old college try. What say you, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely give it a go at least one time just to see, what I might be missing out on. But hey, everybody's on that dill pickle train. Goldfish is introducing new crisp flavors, spicy dill pickle and barbecue. Then we got an official date, July 10th. McDonald's is finally dropping its fan favorite snack wrap on the menu. We spoke on its return before, but now we have a date and supposedly it's here to stay. If you can't wait or you want to test out a comparable wrap, Popeyes just launched their series of wraps on June 2nd. You can get it as a classic, spicy, and honey mustard.
Sounds so good. Yummy, 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 but something tastes funny. Did you as listeners hear about this food mix-up that occurred at the Haribo factory? Apparently, some of the regular gummies had an extra kick to them, and that kick being THC. And trust, these were not intended to be edibles. At the production factory in the Netherlands, the Happy Cola Fizz gummies were the ones that had the extra happy added in. It is important to add, though, that this issue is only affecting the Netherlands, and it is only found in that specific soda pop style of gummy. Everyone here stateside is safe and sober.
Let's move things to movie news. The new live action Lilo and Stitch is tracking to be the first film of 2025 to surpass $1 billion. They have currently pulled in over $600 million worldwide, which Disney needed since their last live action, Snow White, tanked after investing $400 million in production. But why did Lilo and Stitch do so well and Snow White, didn't? Besides Rachel Ziegler running her mouth, critics believe that the nostalgia of my generation are now taking their kids to the movies that they enjoyed as cartoons growing up. Disney's other ranking live actions that killed it were Aladdin, The Lion King, and Beauty and the Beast, which are all based on 1990s and early 2000 cartoons, which furthers the point. Did you like the cartoon Lilo and Stitch, Britt?
Yes, girl. I loved that movie. I actually remember being taken to the movie theater back when Wheaton Plaza still had a movie theater attached to it with my grandma Wayne and my two sisters, and we went and saw it, and I loved it. I felt like the songs were so fun. The concept was so cute. I was like, I want to say like 10 or so. So I was like, I guess a little older, but it was such a good time. And yeah, so I can't wait to see the remake.
Oh, yes, definitely the live action. And I think for us, Lilo and Stitch was the equivalent of what Moana is for the kids of this decade.
I agree. I agree.
In other movie news, Ryan Coogler, who we mentioned is killing it with his new movie Sinners, has announced that Black Panther 3 is in pre-production, and there is a strong circulating rumor that Marvel is supposedly casting Ryan Gosling as the new white Black Panther. For those of you who don't know, the first two movies starred Chadwick Boseman, who passed away in 2020 after battling colon cancer. So the role needed a successor. But the choice of someone who was white wasn't on my bingo card. We will have to see who they actually cast, but Coogler mentioned that Denzel Washington will have a role, who Chadwick Boseman thanked at the New York premiere of Black Panther for privately funding his acting education.
Oh, wow. I never knew that. I mean, Denzel's pretty baller. In fact, he's like one of the only people that wouldn't, well, I shouldn't say one of the only people, but he was definitely one of the main characters that was like, I'm not going to the Diddy party. Thank you. Thank you very little. I will not be going. So I already knew he was tops. Plus, he's a fantastic actor.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, talking about bingo cards on 2025, I would have never suspected a white Black Panther. It even sounds weird, like white black. I don't know. But if Ryan Coogler approves it, I give my seal as well.
All right, well, let's move it to our favorite part of the show, the Spitfire round. Brittany, take it away.
As y'all know, June is Pride Month, but it is also the month of men's mental health awareness. June is busy with support and love for each and every individual, and it is also super important to show care and respect for men's mental health, as it is often overlooked. Males die by suicide roughly 3.9 times more often than their female counterparts. That is nearly 4 times the amount compared to that of women, and that is something to be discussed. Men are less likely to seek out help, which many attribute to that old school idea of protecting masculinity. Unfortunately, fear to reach out can result in suppressing feelings, alcohol abuse, substance use, and of course, well, obviously in the worst case scenario, suicide. We need to remind one another to speak up and to speak out.
That's right, Brittany. So far this year, 444,536 suicides have already occurred globally, and 75% to 80% are men. So men are suffering in silence and they need to speak out and seek help. So we encourage them to do so for Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Did you know that Dave's Killer Bread Company was established when Dave Dahl returned home in 2004 to work in his family's bakery after serving 15 years in prison for drug distribution and armed robbery? The company was sold 10 years later to Flowers Food for $275 million, and in 2023 achieved $1 billion in annual revenue. Just a great story to share that anyone can turn it all around and become millionaires.
That's right. I find it kind of interesting that it's called Dave's Killer Bread because he wasn't really a killer. He was a dope boy and like a robber, but I still dig a, coming up story from, I won't even say rags to riches, but it's good for him. And I love the bread. I know you love it too,
Oh
Nick.
yeah, that's my only go-to bread. So worth the extra buck, Dave. Thanks so much for your service.
Amen, amen. Climb high, climb free. Wait a minute. Maybe not so free, perhaps completely locked in. According to the data that was collected by analysts, as well as application usage studies, it was found that the average smartphone user traditionally scrolls through roughly 330 feet per day. This scrolling takes place on social media apps, and when it comes down to it, or rather up to it, within a year, this amount adds up to the height of 4 Mount Everests stacked on top of one another. Mount Everest is 29,000 feet, and times that before, You get 116,000 feet. Hope that it is worth it.
Speaking of addiction, scientists are doing research on cocaine addiction by using genetically modified fruit flies. They disabled their bitter taste receptor located in their legs that were originally deterred by the bitterness of the cocaine, resulting in the preference of cocaine infused sugar water within 16 hours. Apparently, fruit flies share many genes with humans, and this breakthrough could help identify addiction related genes and molecular pathways that will help better treat cocaine addiction.
It's interesting that cocaine is bitter, but they call it booger sugar. It's probably just because the way it looks, but even still, interesting to note. Very interesting to note. In the 1960s, a toy whistle was featured in the Captain Crunch cereal boxes that enabled folks that used the prize to create a tone that mimicked the sound used by AT&T when using long-distance calling. It was only a coincidence as people randomly discovered that the produced 2600 hertz tone could allow access to long distance features, but without payment. This sparked phone companies to redesign their systems to have better security.
Interesting fact, Britt. Speaking of facts, did you know that Pew Research Center has released a survey of the world's most disliked countries in 2024? And guess what? The United States wasn't number one. It was actually number two. China took first place, and those following the US in order include Russia, North Korea, Israel, Pakistan, Iran, Iraq, Syria, and then India in 10th.
To be so for real, all of those names on the list make total and complete sense. There's not a single one on there where I'm like, oh, really, them? Like, nah. Any hoodles. Ready for some badassery? Back in 2016, a German Shepherd named Luna was out on a boat and accidentally fell in. After she fell in, this strong girlie swam over 2 miles to San Clemente Island and survived off of eating mice for over 5 weeks before she was rescued by the Navy. She initially was thought to be lost at sea, but after being discovered, Luna was only slightly malnourished, though overall was pretty healthy. Luckily, lovely Luna was able to be reunited with her owner, Nick Howarth, after he had been searching for her tirelessly, along with the help of the United States Navy.
What a touching, heartfelt story, Britt. The U.S. Embassy in Mexico is warning Americans that kidnappers are using dating apps to target victims. Anyone who's on board with this 90-day fiance death wish is being warned that once over the border, individuals have been kidnapped in exchange for ransom. Now let's move it to the last segment, everybody else's favorite, Dear Abby. I think you've got a good one this week, Britt, and I can't wait to break it down with you.
It's true, Nick. Oh my gosh, this poor guy. All I can say is I'm so glad I'm not him, for more reasons than one, but we'll start out. Dear Abby, as far as I'm concerned, my marriage is over. For the past 10 years or more, my wife has recklessly spent our joint savings and my pension savings, taken out credit cards in my name without my knowledge, and put us through bankruptcy. We now have over $50K in debt with nothing left. She has also been having affairs on the side. I can't trust a word she says or continue to live like this. Each time she has begged for forgiveness and promised not to do it anymore, until she does it a week later. We agreed to separate a month ago, but now she realizes there's not going to be any regular income from me and wants to stay married. When I told her no, she physically attacked me. I don't want the police involved. I have a daughter on the spectrum. Although she's a young adult, she will blame me, and what relationship I have with her will be destroyed. I have been advised to not move out, as that could be seen by the courts as abandoning my property to her. Please advise.
Well, for one, I don't think the kid will blame you. I think kids always blame themselves, which is pretty sad. So I wouldn't really worry about the daughter. But your biggest problem is that wife. You need to cut that dead weight. She is bleeding you dry. I can't believe you kept letting her do what she was doing over and over and over again. You know, she wasn't going to change no matter what she said. And shoot, I would like to get a look at this girl because she must look like a freaking beauty queen to have you still in there dealing with this BS. So, my advice, leave her as soon as possible. And by leave her, kick her out so you're not abandoning your own property.
Agreed. The lady is complete and total chaos. She needs to go. If she refuses to go, I mean, maybe talk to a lawyer and see what they say. Take all advisements very seriously. But honestly, if she attacked you physically, you need to call the cops. Like, you probably should have already done that, or maybe just wait for her to do it again and then call then, because then I believe that the daughter will not see it as your fault. She'll be like, wow, this guy is trying to do the best he can and he's trying to split up amicably. And my mom is going freaking psycho and punching him and hitting him and all that. He don't even have to go into the details about the finances. I don't know what degree she would understand anyway. But I think everyone can understand that assault is wrong and a huge problem. And if you have it documented, it's only going to help your case in court. So if she's been also like, running through your bank account and getting all these credit cards, it's all the documentation you need. I would just say to get the girl in counseling ASAP. So that way she's able to buffer any and all of these bad feelings that she's inevitably going to have.
Yeah, you got to look out for yourself at the end of the day because taking care of you also takes care of your kids. I just can't get over this woman in general. She sounds like a freaking nightmare, and you really have to stand up for yourself, for real, dude.
It's true, yeah. And you don't want her to be any sort of example, especially to someone that potentially could be like really impressionable. You don't want to be like, this is okay behavior. You could be a psychotic woman and steal all your dude's money and have affairs on the side and attack him physically, and it's all good. It's no worries. I mean, you could look like a supermodel or you could look like a freaking disgusting something that got caught in a drain pipe. Yeah, like, oh, and it's still not going to work. I don't care. 400 pounds and a lazy eye or supermodel looks. It does not matter. Nobody deserves that type of abuse.
Nope, absolutely not. Prayers go out to him. But anywho, that's the show. I hope everybody enjoyed. And again, a little reminder, we're taking a break. We got to run around for summer and don't have time to give you guys the quality episode you deserve. So stay tuned. We'll come back with the summer edition to let you know how things are going and kind of tell you about some vacation spots so that maybe you can plan a trip this summer.
Heck yeah. Yeah, we aren't going too far. We just want to let you know that it won't be on the regular schedule. We usually do it every 2 weeks. It's not going to be that, but we will be popping in. So don't pop out. We're still around and we want y'all to be too.
But until then, you take care and thanks for listening.
Thank y'all so much. Enjoy your summer.